Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with Down to Earth Astronomy. Last time we managed to get Jebediah Kerman back from his orbit where he got stuck in the previous episode after a failed attempt to go a little further than the original mission was planned. Valentina Kerman was sent up to try and save him, and she did indeed manage to get him back, but unfortunately it came at a loss, and Valentina Kerman did not make it back to Kerbal due to a error in the build on the return stage that she was in. So now we will have to press on and continue the mission. We have once again Jebediah in the hot seat, and this time he has strict instructions from the Space Center that he is not to deviate from the mission. He is to go into a orbit around the equator, go out to the moon, get the signs from high and close, and then get back to Kerbal as quickly as he can. So that's the mission for today. Staging is already set up. SRS is on. Let's launch. And after a pretty standard launch, we are in a fairly low but yet stable orbit. And we can now begin to try and see if we can get an encounter with the moon. Looks like we just passed the point, so we probably want to go for at least one orbit before we try to get up there. Oh, that's a little bit too much. And just as last time, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get that encounter. Oh wow, it's all the way over there. We're going to try to get that encounter with the moon where we're going to come in at the front and then go around the back of it so that we want to pass out here. Now we'll come out in this direction, but as we are out here, we want the moon to overtake us on the inside. So effectively we would be flying out in front of the moon, flying back in like a figure of 8. That will then slingshot us back towards Kerbal again, so that's the most fuel-efficient way to do it, at least. So I'm going to set up a note, and then you guys can join me once the note is done. And I think this note is pretty good. If you notice, you can see here we get out, we encounter the moon on the way back. We get a pretty close encounter at only 23 kilometers, which should be enough to get us in to the low Kerbal orbit. And then after we leave the moon again, after we've done almost an orbit, we'll be slingshotted back, and then we will actually be on a return orbit back into the Kerbal atmosphere. So on this single burn, that should actually give us everything we need. Once we're done with this burn, we wouldn't really have to do anything else. So let's fast forward. Let's just warp there to the node. Let's do the burn. Let's see how close we're gonna get. From my experience, I have a tendency to not hit the nodes completely because I start the burn too late. So I'll try to start a little bit earlier this time. And some of you guys will probably have mentioned last time that there's an estimated burn time down here. I should probably use that a little bit more and take half that time and then start before that. So yeah. Anyway, let's. I'm gonna do the burn, and then you guys can join me as soon as the burn is over. Okay, burn is complete. We did get a quite a bit more aggressive return and not as close to the moon as I would have liked. So we're probably going to try to adjust that to get out a little bit closer. But again, that's just going to be small adjustments. We have plenty of fuel. I mean, we pretty much, we could probably do it with this one, just slight adjustments out there. But with that amount of fuel we have left, because you open it up here if you can see it, we should be able to go out and get back. So let's get a little closer, let's do a small correction, and let's see how close we can get the orbit. Here we're coming in on approach to the moon's sphere of influence. We can see we got a pretty good one, getting out to 25. I hope that's enough to get close. And there we are, first... Well, not first encounter with the moon, but at least this is going to be our encounter. Now, we just need to do all our science experiments. I am considering whether I should do... I only brought one science lab here, so I will probably do that once I'm close to the moon rather than doing it out here. So we can do all the other ones. We can observe the goo, yes, and we can, once again, we can log pressure data, and we can log temperature data, and we can EVA, and we can do an EVA report, collect that, board again. We're going to do the crew report also when we are close. So now we just need to see, we're still high over the moon right now, so let's get closer and then we'll collect all the signs once we're a little bit closer to the moon. Ah, here we go, in space near the moon. So same thing as before. What the hell happened here? That one. So we probably need to go and do observe that one. Yes. And we need the spacecraft's upside down. Spacecraft's upside down. Ha! Log temperature. Log the pressure data. And did we do a crew report? Review report. Yes. And then EVA. And EVA report. Yes. Collect that. And we've got a board because spaceship is all weird right now. So I'm just gonna try and get this in a little bit more ideal direction here. I, of course, just as last time, forgot to fit solar panels, so we're gonna be a little bit careful with our charge here, but I think we have plenty to get back home. There we go. So now I just need to get out again. EVA. Oh, I forgot. Board. I need to do... observe the materials bay. There we go. So now we can EVA. Yes, I think that's good. And I'll just begin collecting all the science that we have and bring it with us back to the main capsule. And safely back on board with all the data. 9 pieces, is that right? 6, 7, 8, 9, and for the 2 EVA reports and a crew report. So yeah, that should do it. Where's the moon? Oh, there it is. Oh, hello. Okay, so now all we have to do is pretty much just get back. I should probably mention here, now this spaceship is in the dark here. I don't know if you can see it. I have the heat shields up here, that's why I transfer the data, and I'm gonna keep the engines for now, because what I want to do is I want to burn the engines just before we reach the atmosphere. We're gonna slow us down as much as possible, and then once we are, just before we reach the atmosphere, we're gonna ditch the engines, we're gonna ditch all the science equipment, and we're gonna return with just the capsule, and I hope that this is not gonna be too, aggressive of a return, but we should be able to do a standard moon return in this capsule. So let's get some time warp and let's get away from the moon and let's get a little bit closer to Kerbal. Okay, we are pretty close now. What I really want to do here is we are coming down pretty steeply, so I want to try and flatten this out. So rather than just, if I just began to slow us down, we would get a more steep trajectory. So actually, we might want to speed up actually. So I actually want to try to increase the or decrease the angle that we're hitting the atmosphere with, so we get a little bit more time to burn. So I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna put this in, let's turn SAS on, we have plenty of charge, so we're gonna put it in that direction, should have the sun behind us somewhere, yes indeed. And that is pointing forward. I'm gonna go to the map, and gonna do the burn here. Not sure how much effect this is gonna have. Actually, you know what, this is not a good idea, we should be pointing not towards Kerbal, but outwards, so I'm turning the spacecraft, we're pointing this way, outwards. We try to get as much velocity out that way. I think that should do it. Yeah, here we go. Monitoring our fuel. Again, we're just trying to get this down to an as shallow angle as possible when we hit the atmosphere. We actually managed to get it above the surface here. Can we get up to 10? Yes. Can we get a little bit higher? 20 kilometers, maybe. 20 is probably pushing it a bit. Okay. I think I'm not gonna go for any more height. So for now, I'm just gonna go and gonna try to slow us down without losing too much of our our altitude here. There we go. About 10 kilometers. That's pretty good. Wow. Our apoaps got really high there. And we are coming back at a fairly high velocity. But now we still have quite a bit of space between us and the atmosphere. So now would be a good time to ditch the engine. And also... What are you doing, rabbits? The rabbits are pulling the fence. And also ditch all the science experiments. There we go. Revealing the heat shield. Plenty of charge. So, let's fast forward until we hit the atmosphere. And we are now officially inside the Kerbal atmosphere. Look at that horizon, though. Oh, and here we go. Now we are burning. Spaceship parts exploding all around us. And from this point on, it should be a pretty standard return. We're coming at such a shallow angle that I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I've tested this heat shield on a capsule like this, and still stuff exploding. And it's it has taken, I think, at least 10 trips through the atmosphere at this kind of altitude without burning all its protective material off. So it's definitely gonna be able to take an entry like this. What is that that's heating up so much? Can we turn SAS off, maybe? There we go. That's a lot better. I think actually the capsule was showing just slightly that was what's heating up. That would have been really bad if that thing overheated. But again, we're 20 kilometers up and we're down, almost down to supersonic speed to stop burning. So again, I'm just gonna get this down. We'll see how much science we get once we get back to the space center. Touchdown. There we go. Recover. And let's see how much science we managed to gather this time. Almost 300 units of science. That is not too bad. Oh, was that? Oh, Moon debris. Ah, that must be our launch clamps still standing on the launch pad. Okay, let's see what we can do. Like, true to what I always said I wanted to do. And then I want to complete one row at a time. So we'll have to start by completing the aviation part. And then secondly, we will get the flight control, which is going to give us small reaction wheels and better wings for a total of 90 science. So that's not too bad. And these is what, they're all 90 per node, I think. Indeed they are. So with 90 per node, we're going to have enough to research 2 of them. So we're going to think, what's going to be our next goal? Well, there are several sources of science that we can go for. Ideally, what I want is, I want to see, can we get a crew capsule with more than 1 seat? Because that's really what's holding us back at the moment. Because I want to be able to... Ooh, lander can. That could be interesting. How many pilots does that crew capacity? 1. Damn it. Then there's a hitchhiker storage container. Solar panels, batteries, propellant bodies, more controllers. We always looked at that. There's more aerodynamics. Fairings. Fairings could be nice. Struts. I'm pretty sure I want struts at the bigger tanks. But just to get into struts, because that's going to allow us to build more efficient designs by pumping fuel between stages. Small engines. Yes, very nice. And bigger engines. And bigger boosters. I think in terms of engine power, we have enough with the ones we have. So we'll probably wait with this one. Because, again, what I want to do, if we're going to go for a, let's say, a moon mission, right? Or a Minimus mission, or landing on the moon. I don't know what we're going to do next. Lots of interesting engines here. We need to have more people with us, because we cannot, if we're gonna go around the moon, we cannot carry all those science experiments. So we will need a scientist, and we really need Jebediah to control it, because he is right now our only pilot. So I don't know. Okay, let's take this from the top. Let's start by taking the fuel node, the fuel system. So we'll upgrade that so we can get the fuel struts, because that's gonna help us a lot in terms of designs. Fairings, I don't think it's going to do much for us right now. And there's no point in taking the big engines without... Although we actually got the big fuel tanks. We could actually begin to build very big rockets. But we don't really need that big rockets right now. We're not that interested in that. If we're going to go... I mean, what we could do is we could go for beginning... to work towards a landing mission. Maybe we want to do... Oh, I don't know. Could we do something with 2 people, 2 science containers, 2 lander cans on 1? I don't know. I'll have to figure this out what I want. I'm really in doubt. There we could actually begin building a... If we get the docking clamps here, we could begin to build a space station. But again, that's not going to give us a lot of science. You know what? If we're gonna work towards a, a land mission in the future, I think we're going to need at least the solar panels, and we will also need some landing gear, obviously. Maybe the bigger heat shields. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But at least for now, I think I want to get the solar panels here, the battery packs, so that we can begin to have a little bit of battery on board. And then I think the next mission we want to do is we want to go to Minimus, pretty much do the exact same mission as we did. Same rocket. Maybe I'm going to extend one of the tanks a little bit. I don't know. But pretty much doing the same mission to Minimus. Collect the science from up there. Come back. And then see what we can get. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to do that. And then let's see how much science we get from that mission. With the newfound science we got from the moon mission, we have actually upgraded the standard moon rocket from moon 1 to moon 2. As you can see here, we have a little bit more in terms of rocket power here in the initial stage, and I've built what is known as an asparagus design. Those of you who've played this game for a long time probably already know this. But basically, I have linked the fuel tanks up in such a way that all the engines would effectively just be draining fuel from this and this side of the engines. Once these are empty, we're gonna ditch those 2 and we're gonna run on 3 engines, and then we're gonna drain fuel only from the outer tanks here and here. This one, and once those empty, we're gonna ditch that, and then we are still gonna have a full stage in here with a full, with all 3 tanks full. That's gonna give us a lot of delta V. It's a very, very efficient way to burn fuel. So that should give us quite a bit of additional delta V. And this is most definitely going to be able to read Minimus, and probably a little bit further if we wanted to. But let's see. And again, Jebediah, you have to stick to the mission. So again, I'm not gonna go into too much detail with the whole launch procedure and setting notes and approaching, unless something deviates from the mission. Jebediah. I'm just gonna go and do this mission off camera. You can join me once I am back at Kerbal. Check your staging. And at an early Kerbal morning, after 23 days in space, Jebediah splashes down after a successful mission to Minimus to collect more data. The vessel was successfully recovered, and upon return, the scientists at the Kerbal Space Center examined the onboard computer and was able to salvage over 380 units of science. So if the next logical step is to make a landable mission, or we're gonna land properly on the moon, we could go to interstellar space. We could also look into more airplane parts and begin to fly around Kerbal, collect some science from Kerbal itself. But I think I want to stick with the trying to land part. So I mean, we have plenty here, so we can probably do several things. We are not really limited anymore. We can probably go and say, let's take some landing gear. The lander can might come in very, very handy, so I think we should try and take that. Mobility enhancers, yeah, that maybe we want to build something that can drive if we want to get around. It might be a little bit easier to do. So wheels might not be a bad idea either, considering that, because I mean, if we have wheels on board and we can build something that can actually, is this a 2.5 meter part? I can't remember. But if we can build something that can drive, we can drive around the different areas that we want to explore. We could potentially make it easier because we wouldn't have to have fuel to jump around the different areas. We can just drive from one place to another. We could probably bring both a scientist and an engineer so we can repair if in case wheels get broken. So that would not be a bad idea either. No, I don't think we need this just yet. The fairings might be, because now we're going to begin, if we're going to build a vehicle, if that's the approach we're going to go with, we might need the fairings. Because now we're going into the territory of unwieldy stuff. Stuff that looks weird and have weird shapes and are not really meant for launching through an atmosphere. So I think fairings is going to be a very good choice here. So that's what we're going to go for. We're not going to go and get the bigger engines, at least we'd love to, but we are 7 science short. So if it turns out that I'm going to need the skipper engines and the bigger solid rocket boosters, I could just go out and do some science here at Kerbal to get the last 7 science. It should probably be doable to do. And once we got that, we could then get those last engines. But that's going to be in a future episode. For now, at least, we unlocked a lot of science. We almost got a full level here of science. And I think next time we are definitely going to try and see if we can land on the moon or Minimus and take a little drive around up there. But that's going to be next time. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like down below and remember to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I will see you guys in space.